Hi, welcome to the Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 145. 145. 145. How's life been? Good? It's been cooler.
Yes, which has been nice. Had a first soccer game. By the end of the soccer game, she felt comfortable with soccer. And we had a Monday practice, which was okay. And then canceled practice tonight because it's cold and rainy. And also, he had also mentioned that he'd had a couple parents say that their child was sick and not coming. So it was like, so we would have been shorted, but it was just practice. But yeah, it was really cold.
How do you feel about becoming a soccer mom?
How do I feel? I feel out of my element.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about soccer rules, and since they're so young, they don't follow a lot of the soccer rules. So whatever rules I did know about, they're still not using them. We don't keep score.
Yeah.
And there's no goalie. Yet. It's recreational soccer, and they're just starting. Apparently it's going to be that way for at least another year, because this is first and second grade soccer. So we might have another year of no goalie. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's a lot of time commitment.
Yeah.
And
But that time can be spent knitting.
It can, until your daughter says, "You didn't see that, you were knitting." Criticizing me knitting on the sideline.
Yep.
It's like, I saw it. I can do both. But it's not always believed that I can do both.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting. It was, I don't know, I'm enjoying it. There's also swimming going on, and if either of them decide to do that as a sport, it's just gonna make the week a little nuts.
Yeah. I was just telling somebody, I feel like my husband's not happy unless our lives are just taking children everywhere, because we've got piano lessons and swim lessons and this for school and that for school. We're just running around like crazy people. But 'tis the time of our lives, I suppose.
Yep.
It definitely cooled down. I'm in prime time hat making mode now.
Yes.
because it has cooled down, and getting to bring out some of those cooler weather knits.
But you're making all of yours like really skinny.
Skinnier.
Skinnier.
Although I do think that on my shopping list is definitely something tweedy for Rhinebeck. Like, I can legitimize that because I have no tweedy yarns in my stash. Zero. Zilch.
I see. So on your shopping list while you're at.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was thinking like, oh yeah, I suppose you could make a tweedy something for.
No. I'm saying while I'm there.
I got it.
I gotta have that on my to-do list. I briefly mentioned before we started podcasting, I started watching Orphan Black, and I highly recommend it. It is a very good sci-fi show that was on, I think it's in Canada, BBC, and really been enjoying it. So that's a recommendation. I don't feel as if I can talk about anything on air. Even the premise of it isn't really revealed until a couple of episodes in. So without saying anything, like spoiler alert, we did get the discs from Netflix, and that's how we are watching it. So I don't know other avenues to watch it, but what else? I have continued to do my my marathon cramming. I have a rule of thumb. Actually, I measure by using my finger right there, but the rule of thumb is that I don't increase my mileage more than 3 miles, my longest run by more than 3 miles a week. My mileage can go up can vary greatly, like weekly mileage, but the
Mhm.
longest run can't go more than 3 miles. And so I'm up to 15, and found out, like, I don't know if this is a total blonde moment or if I just haven't been educated in the past, but like, I wore a long sleeve shirt on Sunday when I ran, and I got sunburned through it.
Oh.
And I was like, I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, it's only SPF 4 unless it's
Oh, see,
rated.
somebody at work told me it was SPF 10, like what most clothing was.
It's
and
low. It's real
I
low.
was like, wow, I didn't know that I had to put sunscreen on underneath my long sleeve t-shirts when I was going to be out running for a couple of hours.
Just by running clothes, and those are SPF.
No, this was a running shirt.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know. A lot of the ones that I've seen recently, anyway, have an SPF rating on them. But yeah, those aren't the cheap ones.
Yeah. Well, I've seen like swimsuits that have an SPF rating. Like, that made sense to me, but I was wearing like actual cloth in between me and the sun. Like, how is that possible? But oh god, the cooler temps are so much better to run in.
Mm-hmm.
Just like shaving off time left and right, because I'm like, I'm not dying of heat stroke. So that's nice. But the first weekend in October is getting very, very.
My running has had the opposite, as in, like, I haven't been doing it. So getting back on the bandwagon,
Cool weather's glorious,
and it's wonderful. But your times, because it's like 6 weeks, I think, is when like this month-long cold hit, and then we were on vacations, and so it was like, oh, a month-long cold, then vacations, you get back, you're still lazy for at least a week, and then I'm like, all right, I got to get back into it. So I've been doing, decent exercise for 2 weeks now, and I went on a run this morning, and I was so slow. I was just like, that, and I think our treadmill is calibrated wrong, because it was still dark when I was up, so I was like, okay, I better run on the treadmill, and it felt like I was going a lot faster than the treadmill said I was, because it was hard.
Running on a treadmill is always hard. I would not recommend it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, because my Monday run was later, and so that one was outside, and it was wonderful out, and I was going a lot faster, and was having less trouble with it. So 2 days later, I'm on the treadmill, and the treadmill says that I'm only going like a snail's pace compared to what I'm used to. But it's still like, wow, this is really hard. Like, why is this so hard?
Yeah.
And I asked, I even asked my husband about it, and our treadmill's like 12 years old. So 10 years old maybe. It's got quite a few years on it. And so maybe it is, calibrated differently. And so it says that you're running a snail's pace, but you're actually running a slightly faster.
See, with me, treadmills, why I don't like it is because when, from having my Garmin that has my miles per hour and my minutes per mile on there, I know that I vary a great deal, just even from moment to moment. And treadmills make you run a set pace, and like I get caught into I get fixated on that number, like, oh, I have to be running whatever miles per hour, and then I can't back it down. Like, my ego won't let me go, oh, well, I'm feeling, so I need to, like, I'm just, no, get those miles in and get them over with, because I hate this stupid treadmill.
I see.
So, yeah.
This is why she rubs in sub-zero temperature.
I do. I don't like treadmills. They're dreadmills for me, man. All right. What else do we have going on? Administracy. Started up the Rhinebeck sweater KAL thread for chatter. This, unlike every KAL differs, but this KAL, we will be doing any works in progress, so any sweaters that you finish in the month of September and October count as a Rhinebeck sweater. Could be a 3-year unfinished object, UFO, that you pull out and finish for this KAL. So it's kind of a finish it, but also a Rhinebeck.
So if you've got a lot of them in flight,
go for it. If you've got a lot of UFOs in flight, Land those puppies. Land them. And then also you can do as many, so we're opening the gates. You finish a sweater, you get an entry, dude. Mm-hmm. So please join us. It's not necessarily Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck is just kind of the shorthand for fall festival.
Mm-hmm. And before the question is asked, weaving in ends and sewing on buttons does not count. I know that is ultimate finishing of a sweater, but I'd like, you either have to at least sew it all together or knit on it, have the
button band,
knitting, yeah, something has to have
a knit stitch needs to have occurred.
Yeah,
at least one, maybe a purl, if there's a purl in it. Anyway, we also have, last week we were negligent in getting up the prize thread for Deep Regret.
We have deep regret.
We deeply regret not getting the giveaway thread up, but we reviewed sock architecture, and then we've got the new Everlasting base. And so to enter for this, there was some hair on that because it's flying around now, will be what technique out of sock architecture would you be most interested in trying? Mm-hmm. So whether it's an afterthought heel flap or a different type of toe. I think they have an afterthought toe in there. There's all kinds of interesting sock architectures that you can use, and so pick one out of that book. We'll draw for the digital book and this yarn. Please enter. What else do we have going on? We have a self-striping KL going on. Last week was very exciting. We had our Zombie Knitpocalypse signups, and those went swimmingly, and we're super excited for all of the returning folks. I think after a certain number of years and people returning, we should start having like, this is your sophomore year, this is your junior year, you're a senior now, I'm just kidding. There's post-secondary Zombie Knitpocalypse as well, but lots of freshman class this year. Exciting, never been to a knitting retreat, freshman class coming, so hi to you, and we're super excited. If you're watching, you don't necessarily have to watch us. Mm-hmm. And then bringing it back, kicking it old school, we're bringing back the Dis or Dat.
Yes.
Ooh wee, what's up with that? What's up with that? They don't do that skit anymore.
No, they don't.
Well, yeah, they have. New TV hasn't started yet either, which is kind of semi-upsetting to me. I'm like, if it's gonna be like this temperature outside, can we please get some new television on? I mean, it's getting dark.
One or two of them would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, just like schedule them in slowly, like creep in. Like, not just have all of a sudden my TiVo will be out of control.
Yeah, explodes.
So the Dis or Dat, if you are new to the podcast or we haven't done one in so long you've forgotten, we have a thread up where you vote. There is a poll on which one you like. I champion one, Amy champions one. For every 100 votes, we give away a free pattern. So if we get 100 votes, obviously we're going to do, an additional pattern for every 100 votes. So if we have 100 votes, then we give away one. And then if we have into the 200s, we give away two, so on and so forth. Yep. And then we'll draw for those. Do you care to talk about what yours is while I pull up the technology?
Okay, I landed on Bray. It was really hard to pick. We were going for,
we have a lot of needle adjacent projects as well.
Apparently.
So, yes.
So Bray is a Jared Flood pattern. It was in, I think, last year's fall Brooklyn Tweed catalog.
So tempting, everything in there.
Yep, and I really liked the rustic look, and it looks like a comfy old sweatshirt to me too. Like classy, comfy old sweatshirt. And so Bray calls for worsted weight, so the shelter of Jared Flood's, but I actually am not going to be using that. I'm going to be using something else. I don't have the button band for it, but it's I got it at Yarn Over, and it is very reminiscent of Brooklyn tweed shelter.
I remember you talking and showing it off on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's a
is it
similar
tweedy?
density. Yeah, and it is tweedy. And it's a gray with like the browns that would be in a cat, mixed in. And it's really, I don't know, it's going to be really awesome.
Cablelicious.
Yes, cablerific. And I just like the idea of the pullover. I've got so many cardigans in my queue right now, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to turn them into pullovers or not. But
and you liked the saddle shoulder. You were telling me.
Yes, it has the saddle shoulder, so it's a little bit more interesting. I haven't read about its construction yet, so I don't know if it's bottom up. I would assume so, but it could be top down.
I can tell you. The power of technology.
Bottom up.
Yep. Crew neck.
Bottom up. And I've seen it styled a lot, and I will say online that ladies, this thing is see-through. Because it seems like I can see a lot of bras in the finished objects.
So you have to layer. It's a layering piece.
It's a layering piece. You're going to want something under it. They have it with a collared shirt, and everybody who puts it together with a collared shirt, this is the one I'm thinking of right there.
Yeah, that is see-through.
So I think that with my yarn, it's thicker than some of the yarns chosen by the.
This is a linen cotton.
Yeah,
the one that
it's kind of see-through, but it's not the only one. Like I looked at just about every finished object that's out there, and yeah, there are people who aren't wearing shirts under it, and they should. And I don't know if it's that noticeable in person, but when you put a camera on it, it's noticeable.
You won't be wearing it under the studio lights.
Yeah. And but I'm saying that the ones that are styled the best are the ones with the collared shirts. I think that looks the best. On the like oh, that's really cute. Oh,
you guys cute too. But they do have collared shirts on. Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah. And again, I was excited about it.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a yarn over like eyelet panel in between the cables, and that could be a little risque without something underneath it.
Well, and I plan on doing a woolen spun yarn, right? And some of these people did worsted spun, and so like the smoothness of that yarn, allows those
gaps
to open up a lot bigger than maybe the shelter. The chosen yarn, the yarn that they picked for the pattern would. But you can tell from the picture of the model that her shirt is kind of showing through. Because it's a patterned shirt, and you kind of see a little bit of the. Not a lot. I don't know. It wouldn't have dawned on me until I started looking at all the FOs that, that's kind of see through. I should make sure that I plan some outfits.
And then mine is On the Grass by Joji Locatelli. I picked this knit because it looks like it works really well. I'm going to try not to catch the lights, but it's hard. With super variegated yarns. I really like the accent across the shoulders. I think that shoulders are a very pretty part of almost every person I've ever saw. Like I've never seen somebody and been like, they don't have pretty shoulders. Everybody has nice shoulders. Okay. Like it's a nice neckline. It's a nice neckline for folks. I think I have looked at a lot of the folks out there as well. I'm a little concerned. Amy and I were talking about where the upper body here joins in with the ribbing on the arms. And so I might figure out how to add another rib there, because it goes from purl to purl on the sleeve, but the pearls up here are going like this, and the pearls on the sleeve are going like the opposite direction, and so they don't line up. So I could see where you would think that might be seamless, but I would actually just rather highlight it, right? Like make it have a knit line column there, and show that they're changing. And I might try that, and I might not like the way it looks either.
Yeah, it depends on how much of an actual drop shoulder it is.
Yeah.
Because some of them it doesn't look like a drop shoulder, and some of them it does look like a drop shoulder. So.
Yep. Okay, all kinds of fun. But yeah, it's got some interesting texture. It's got some ribbing in it, and I think it just looks really cozy. I think, and I have so many, because all of them they look so tantalizing in the skeins, and then you start to knit it up, and you're like, that cable is just completely disappearing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much variegation in the yarn. In fact, I've got that sweater quantity of our birthday kit that I think might look really nice in this with that pinky reddy.
Is it so it is a DK?
I feel comfortable substituting DK for worsted.
Okay.
But yeah, it calls for Rios.
Okay, cool.
That's a comfort level thing. Like
No,
I can figure out my gauge, and I can either do gauge math or I can just go up a size.
Yep.
But that's mine. I think that a lot of people have stashes that would be indicative to this as far as pattern selection. That one I would consider a very variegated. But he does good things.
Yeah. I need to look for something for that yarn as well.
It comes in 28 to 30 up to 56 to 58. It is intended to be worn with negative ease. I was thinking of having positive ease in it, but
yeah, some people it looks like positive ease.
Yeah.
So.
And that was the cozier look that I was going for, but it's from the top down.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. And it's got a boat neck. So, I think everybody in these pictures, I don't know if they're wearing something underneath it or not. It doesn't have any see-through bits, but it does have a set-in sleeve. That might be why it looks kind of, the transition, if you're not good at setting in sleeves. I might investigate picking up sleeves and doing it that way. But yes, On the Grass by Joji Locatelli and Bray, which was by Jared Flood, I believe.
Yes. Yep. I'm trying to see if I had anything cute that was for good with variegated yarn, because you mentioned that yarn that we have.
So, you mean queued up specifically for that yarn?
Yeah, I think it's this one.
So, what's up with that, this or that?
Cool.
Yeah, we've wanted to do that for a while. Oh, pretty.
Yeah, interesting creature. Anyway, I did have something queued up. Yay!
And that's all the administrati that's fit to be had.
Excellent.
Yeah, we jabber on for 20 minutes about absolutely nothing. Do you have any of those?
No.
Think.
They're not to be. I mean, yeah. I can show you the back side of a hat that I finished. Excellent, right?
Yeah.
And I have a swap package, and they don't know I'm the one that's knitting for them, so I could show it, but it's actually the knitting's done, the limbs aren't sewn on. So the patch is done, but it's not sewn together. So
mostly finished object.
Yeah, and I think that mainly that's mostly finished because I wanted to cast this on, and I have another hat that it's in here. And it's out of this beautiful blue old stash, so I'm excited. Anyway, none of these are finished. I should stop talking.
You have things that you're excited about, but they're not finished.
They're not finished, yeah. And then I've had
she's a
sweater
breaker.
Sweater dreams. I've been doing a lot of project planning. And so that's probably why the patch isn't finished and how everything else is not.
Yeah, the Yarn Harlot pointed out that when in our class that playing on the internet and Ravelry does not finish your projects, and we were kind of like, but that's part of our joy.
Yes, don't take away my joy.
Our knitting joy. She also pointed out like admiring your work and trying it on and being like, and again, I was like, that's part of our joy. So yeah, it doesn't add to throughput, but it definitely adds to loving your craft and longevity.
Yes.
It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And if you enjoy making plans out on the internet, well, then you've got plans. I am in I'm going to turn every known sock pattern into a hat mood. And so this is my Vesper Knitterly Things. In this, I turned Expanding Community into a hat. So it went up to a certain point, and then I finished it with the panels intersecting. So that's the two ways that you can turn a sock pattern in. You can take the sock pattern motif and repeat it once and have it be a panel at the side, or maybe twice and have two panels. Or you can, repeat it over and over and over again. These I had intersecting. I did not like the way that it looked. Like I made a dominant one and a recessive one, and the dominant one ate the recessive one, once they intersected. Yeah. I didn't like it. So then I ripped it back, and I put, there's now space in between, and then the decreases just kind of form like a palm leaf. Mm-hmm. Basically, they kind of look like leaves. We could be twinsies.
To me, they look like hot air balloons.
Yeah, yep. Well, before my husband said they look like menorahs, which I have no problems with menorahs. I just didn't aesthetically like it, because then I got to the decreases and it was like, so anyway. And then this one is Cookie A's very popular free monkey. Mm-hmm. And I really like this one. Mm-hmm. I think this one turned out well. And so I'm going to write on justrunit.com a blog post about how to turn fingering weight sock patterns into fingering weight hat patterns. And with very popular patterns like this, I'll mention cast-ons. Mm-hmm. Because those are publicly available. I can't for other socks because they're not, they're paid for patterns and or they're not mine. And so, but super fun. It's a great way to not get rid of, that's a horrible phraseology, but to use up, to get some of those fingering weight skeins out of your stash. I've got a lot of self-striping, which I think are super fun in hats. The only thing that bothers me just minusculely about them is when you get to the top and there's a lot less of it, and you're like, what happened to my stripes? It's just a big bullseye.
It's a big bullseye, yeah.
Kind of looks like a monkey butt or something on this one with the pink right there. Just saying. Thoughts that go through your head. But I do like my decreases on the top. That was fun, right?
And you're seeing a cat butt.
Yeah. Monkey butt. So they have all those very popular cat butt patterns on Ravelry now. Have you seen those? Where they're pot holders or something? Mm. So yeah, that's the only real math that you end up having to do after you figure out the cast on, because you can use the ribbing for the cuff. For the brim, it's just figuring out how to do these decreases up at the top that are a little more difficult. And so those are my two finished objects. I just went. I was excited. I have a lot of skeins in my stash, including this, that are 100% merino that I will not put on my feet. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of Dancing Dog Dye Works that I may or may not put on my feet. I haven't quite decided. Her base I have not explicitly used the 100% merino and seen whether or not it can deal with my extremely harsh wearing and feet.
Check the number of plies.
Yep. But would make wonderful hats, because I really like bright hats. Mm-hmm. Like you wear like a normal coat and then a pop of color for your hat in your cold weather wear. But those are my two finished objects, and I don't know if I will have any finished objects other than hats for a while, because I'm just like loving them up.
Cool.
Yes.
I really enjoy the hats that I've been turning out, but they're all like potentially design things, and I don't know where they're gonna end up yet. And once that's all been settled, I can show hat parade. all the hats that I've been making.
Yeah, I've got a sock parade, a bunch of club design stuff that will be going out here in the latter part of this year. That it's like, once I can finally show you, it'll be very exciting.
Mine are just for the birthday kit. I don't do much design outside of that anymore. Because it takes time, and I would rather knit other people's patterns, apparently.
Yep. I gets it.
But I am working on something in this beautiful blue, and I'm very excited. And like bunch it up and be like, "Yay! Look, see, it started, and it's beautiful, right? Sure, it's ribbing."
I'm getting good at ribbing. There's a lot of ribbing in these hats.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then let's see what else. What else got worked on? Nothing. The Ginny's cardigan. I finally got my main cardigan piece ready to go. I'm pretty excited to get past the 4 inches of ribbing and onto the design. And then I have a feeling that once I get into that pattern, it will zoom.
Yeah, once you get to the stitch
motif. The stitch motif will keep me going. Trying to figure out what those are all naps.
You can talk about those.
I will.
We don't have a specific nap section.
No, I just wanted to get through the things that I actually did work on.
Okay.
So, the ink has at least another 1.5 inches on it, I think, from the last time we talked. Maybe it's 1 inch. I don't know. But I'm slowing down on it because I have the obligation type knitting, and I have been knitting a lot of small things to kind of take a break from all the sweaters. And like I said, I've got the planning future projects mode. So apparently once I took the sleeves off, my brain went meh, for a while. But I'm planning on getting back into this week to make sure that I get into the next motif. Because after 4 inches under the underarm, it changes again and will become exciting again.
Exciting
once again. There was all that excitement to get them off, to get the sleeves off, and it was going faster, but at the same time, it's a fingering weight garment. It's not any faster than anything else. I was much happier working on my hats and my little stuffies and things that were gonna get off the needles as quickly as they came on the needles. So there's that. And then my needle adjacent projects, I put a Colorwork bag together. This will probably end up being that Tin Can Knits sweater.
The Coiquint?
Yeah. So the blue is the main, and then the Colorwork would be the other two, with the oatmeal being the fingers and the pink being the center.
The phalanges.
Yes. And so I am really excited to start that, but something about me doesn't really want it to be a cardigan. So I am debating and contemplating, but it is bottom up. So it's like, do you go to all that work and then find out that you didn't want a single piece, and then you have to like stick it or something to get it to, I don't know. So you're knitting it in the round and sticking it. Yay. I haven't looked at the pattern to see what the color would.
I think there's a pullover and a cardigan, right?
All right, I printed it out. Anywho, I will move on, and then I can read that while you're talking.
Okay.
This is my yarn that reminds me of the shelter, but is not, and I will have to. It's in my stash. This gray, so. If you're searching my stash, I bought it at Yarn Over 1.5 years ago, I think. Because I don't think I bought it at this last Yarn Over.
I remember the booth.
Yeah, had lots of colors, and I ended up with this gray. I don't know. I think it's beautiful. So I have 6 balls of this. It's going to be significant amount for all that cabling. So I am excited to get started, and the cables are just going to be like magic. I'm going to love making them.
And this is you're going to love making them.
Bray.
The dis or
dat one.
Yeah.
Is the one that this is
a
for.
Needle adjacent already.
It is a needle adjacent, although I have no idea when these are going to get on the needles, because I have 3 sweaters
They
on
may
the
be
needles.
adjacent for a while.
Yeah. I have 3 sweaters on the needles right now, 2 pairs of socks, and all of this secret knitting that's going on. So that sounds like a lot. I am certainly had a lot more projects going on at once, but usually it's like a shawl and a couple
of type.
More types. This is like 3 sweaters and 2 socks, and then it just is. And then my other needle adjacent are socks for the kids. And so they had picked out their yarn, so I thought I'd share. Lucy wanted this Florama blue-green craziness.
Regia?
Yeah. And so it'll be a nice sturdy sock. I am going to do tube socks. I am learning my lesson. The kids went into their sock drawer and gave me all of their hand knit socks that didn't fit. And so Justin has none. Lucy has the ones that are hand-me-downs from him. And then I have, I think now 3 pairs that are like, nope, not going to fit anybody. So I'm going to make them taller than I normally would, and I'm going to make them tube socks. Tube socks with some ribbing at the top, with significant ribbing at the top, 4 to 4 inches maybe, more, I don't know, quite a bit. And if you've done this for your own children, let me know how that went. I know that I've heard other people doing that, just doing tube socks, but I don't think I've ever worn tube socks, and I don't know like what. It would have some bunching around the heel, I would assume, after you put your foot in the shoe. I mean, not heel, but above the heel, around your leg. I don't know. Tube socks. Discuss, please.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
Yeah, coffee.
Weigh in. Let us know.
Coffee talk.
Yeah.
So, and the other one is from Highland Handmaids, and is this the Kissing book?
Self-striping.
Yeah, self-striping. I wanted to pull a self-striping out, and I tried to get, I have one that's Harry Potter themed, but the burgundy in it turned out less dark in this batch. I don't know. Because I said, what about this one? And he said, can you take the pink out of it? And so it's like, oh, that is not red, or maroon or whatever, that's pink in his mind. So I brought out this one, and he said that would be okay, because I know he loves orange. If it had green in it instead of blue, it might even be more favorited, because orange and green are his favorite colors. But
all right, I'm going to start to get naked over here, because I'm going to try on my half work in progress here, almost finished. So this is my Jane cardigan that I turned into a Henley. I got kind of excited about it and finished the trim and the neckline here. I finished it. I changed it up a little bit. They had you doing the neckline and then no, they had you doing the front panels and then doing the neckline and adding a button. And I just did the button bands. I did the neckline first and the button bands. And then obviously I had modified it to be a Henley. And I've got this one sleeve on. I went through and wove in all of my ends because I was excited about that one night for some reason. And yeah, I think that I was telling Amy, I don't think I'm going to ever button it. But I think I will buy 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons just in case I ever want to. But I'll always have to wear something underneath it because of this mesh panel. And then just leave it open like that. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have some buttons over here. I did not like the buttonholes that the pattern, I got into a modification mode. It was two stitches.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 decreases and then a cast on, and they were just ginormous. Mm-hmm. So I just changed it to be a 1 and knit 2 together, yarn over for that. But I like it. It's super like
soft.
Could live in it. The sleeves are going to be a slog because they're just stuck in the round, and there's a lot of, they're fairly sizable sleeves, big armhole opening. But yeah, and that's out of Sundara merino silk fingering. And then I was going to show off my purchase this week was a bird leg bags. She put that she updated out on Instagram, and I saw the trees and I said, I need more trees in my life. So very fall themed square, but the just casting on, I was originally going to possibly do this as I just continue to wear all of my knitwear. I was originally going to do a blurred lines, but it looks like, and you can't tell this by looking at it in the ball, that the green is like 3 rows and then the silver is 2, and so blurred lines isn't going to work very well with this. So I'm thinking the skip rib socks, or maybe Julia Swartz pinstriped, or like a vanilla latte by Ginger. Something. I mean, there's just a billion free sock patterns out there that make really great hats, in my opinion, and I'm all about it. But this is Stray Cat yarn in the I can't remember the colorway name. Is it apple something? They come in those boxes, and I try to remember to take the colorway sticker off of the box, but I obviously didn't. Stray Cat socks. Self-striping. So this is one self-striping finished object for the KAL, and here's another one. But I really love that green, and they kind of coordinate. Look, look. Okay. But that is my works in progress. Hopefully I'll get really excited about sleeves here shortly, so that I can have a finished object. I need to take this. I thought at one point I was going to get to the store, Jenny's, and pick out some buttons, which is why I finished the front bands here and haven't picked out buttons yet. But they'll be small and delicate and pinky. So there's that. What'd you figure out from your pattern? Is it not a pullover?
It is a pullover. It's a cardigan that's designed to be steeped. So the patterning is different, where you would steep to it. So you just have to just blend over that gap, and it should be okay to be a pullover.
Did they not have, like, was the little boys not a pullover? Maybe I just imagined
I don't
it.
see the front of it in the pictures.
Oh, no, it is a cardigan. Wrong. Cleoquint.
Yeah. So, it's, you can see, and I'm looking at it, I don't want to give away anything, so I'm just looking at they're all,
Are you thinking about making it as a pullover?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking they all fit into the 8-stitch repeat motif. That's the largest one. So I should be able to, that seems like an 8-stitch motif right there. The button band. Yep. So just add one more 8-stitch motif in between where it's having you do edge stitches. And then,
well, you could do gauge math too. Figure out how big it will result, right?
That's true.
With the extra stitches.
That's true. But I almost want to reverse engineer it to be top down. Just the idea of doing another bottom up sweater just does not appeal.
Maybe that one will be needle adjacent for a little while longer.
Well, once you get your mind to it, converting it's not a big deal.
This week we have a yarn review and a discount and a giveaway, which is super exciting. So we were contacted by Kay of Indie String, and she has a superior worsted Falkland yarn that she is super excited about, and it's milled, and she dyes it in Michigan, so it's specifically dyed up for her, milled for her, and I really like my celery colorway. Francis. It's very springy, I would say, and it has a nice smush factor to it. I've not worked with Falkland before. Have you?
I have spun Falkland before. I don't know that I have knit stuff that I've spun. And I don't even know that I've spun more than a sample of Falkland, actually. But I have worked with it in that regard, but not with yarn.
I think that these would make really great Colorwork something together. Look at that. That would definitely pop. The skeins are 200 yards. I was going to say 200 grams.
Yeah, somebody on my Instagram feed had what was it called? Hero has most of the work up here and then down here, but this had a fade that was going across the whole body, but the colors in it were so bazinga bright and reminded pixelated. That's the one.
I know. Sometimes you talk sweaters that I don't know, but that one I do know. Pixelated, because I've looked at it. I really want to do some color work. Like, and everywhere I look is color work.
Bright. It's like
eye-searing.
Yes. And I could see. Part of me thinks to myself, like, that's the reason that sweater is appealing to me.
Yeah.
Like the whole colors. Reason is the colors.
Yeah.
It's bright yellowish green. Bright pink, and then a gray. Oh, it's so pretty.
Yes. But she has a lot of. I think that the Falkland takes this. These are very, very saturated, but yet still bright colors, in my opinion. We have not obviously knit with it yet, but it. On their website, they mentioned that they think this is a very good sweater yarn, and I could see where that would be the case. You could knit some cables out of this, and they would just knock. I've said pop probably about 20 times this episode, but I think it would definitely pop in a sweater. It's it would be a good layering piece. Do you think it's next to skin soft? It doesn't irritate me, but it's not like super soft, right? Like, I guess I just got done taking off my merino silk.
No, I think it's great.
Next to skin soft.
I could totally see this being like a cowl that I'd be okay with around my neck.
Yeah.
If you're super sensitive, I could see a little prickle factor, but I'm not super sensitive when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you wear enough full sweaters and you probably get a little more used to it as well. So go out and check out Kay's shop, and to entice you to do so, she has given us a discount, and then so our prize, the prize thread for this is to go out and pick out your favorite colorway in her shop, because the winner will get said colorway from her shop. So she's giving away a skein of yarn, and then if you just can't wait and you want to knit a sweater out of this gorgeous Falkland springiness, she has a 10% off your total purchase. Zombies 10 colorway. Or colorway. Coupon code. I'm looking at your thing going, colorway.
Yes. Megan really wants to do color work.
I do, but I kind of want to knit a sweater, and this isn't a sweater quantity, so Maybe they can just live together and marinate and go, you want to knit something. Because I could knit like a cowl, or I could knit like one of those monster.
I was thinking it'd be fun to do the I think I saw recently somebody did a skull that had like a different motif around it that I thought was cute. And it would be fun to do in a bright color.
Yes. Springy. So yeah, go out, use Zombies 10 to get some. Go out and visit the thread to say what you would pick, and then we'll draw for winners, and she will send it. So thank you again to Kay of Indie String. That's indiestring.com. And that'll be a fun project. No matter what if it's just this, it would still be a fun project. Together, I think they're going to be like over the top fun. But you get two beautiful yarns together, and can you go wrong? Can you go wrong?
No, sir.
Oh, ma'am. I'm a ma'am.
Sorry, no, ma'am. I missed your testicles. Your chesticles.
Yes. On that note.
Bye.
Bye, Uta.